Right, the big story today, Sunil Gavaskar has become the first Indian sportsperson to have his publicity as well as his personality rights protected. Joining us today on Sports Today is the man behind it, senior advocate Gopal Jain joins us, who's not just a legal, but is a big sports fan himself. Gopal, firstly, thanks so much for speaking to us. And the first question that comes to anyone's mind is I gave a full, nice, elongated explanation as to what is the big news point. But how do we make it for a common man to understand, very basic, at a basic level? What does it mean that Mr. Gavaskar has become the first person who's got his personality and as well as publicity rights protected?
So, Sunil Gavaskar, as the opening batsman for India, opened many innings. Today, he's opened a legal innings for all sports people going forward, namely all aspects of their image, of their voice, of their signature, of their personal attributes, and every aspect of their likeness and distinctiveness, which is built around a sports person's personality, in this case, Sunil Gavaskar, will now be protected under law, which means that before somebody uses his photo, his image, his voice, a video, they will need his express permission and authorization to do that, failing which they will not be able to monetize it because of the embargo placed by the court in the directive which it is going to pass.
That takes me to the next question. What you say seems to me the very basic that every public figure should have. Why has it taken so long? I would have thought that this existed anyway.
Well, I think there are two things. Firstly, it is not explicitly embodied in the law. So it's a bit of an interplay of the Copyright Act, the Trademark Act, the common law. We brought a slew of different enactments, stretched it a little bit. And of course, many film personalities and celebrities have been going to courts over the last few months. So we had a set of court orders and directions which had been passed. So like they say, the first innings was played there and we picked it up for the sports persons in the second innings. So second innings takes a little time after the first innings.
Okay. The other question that really comes on the top of my head is, what happens to those people? Now there's a law in place or there's an order in place. What happens to people who go and infringe this? What is, a deterrent towards anyone now not going forward that they do this?
Yes. So let me break that up into two parts. One is there's a court order directly against, let us say, a seller or a person who's misusing or making misrepresentations on any court. Second, there is a fallback order in the order itself, which casts an obligation on the intermediary or the platform to pull such a video or the offending part down. So that is built into the order. And three, the Indian courts have now evolved a new system of a dynamic injunction. So as and when somebody does something which is, if I may use a football word, a red card offense, then automatically the court order will apply. And the intermediaries and platforms, on being noticed that this is happening, will have to pull down the infringing content. So there's going to be an inbuilt mechanism to address this. And lastly, as it always happens, if there's a blatant and violation of a court order, then you can always go to court for contempt of court as well. So all of this should hopefully act as a deterrent. But in any case, it's a start.
As you say, okay, so supposing, there is a ex-rogue platform, okay, that uses, and that's what happened, I think, in Mr. Gavaskar's case. There was a platform that was misquoting him. Firstly, just give us a background. What was the background? How did Mr. Gavaskar come to you? What was the issue at hand?
Yes, so I think it was a combination of two things. He was concerned with the fact that there were a spate of fake videos, deep fakes, and quotes which were attributable to him relating to people in the Indian cricket team or coaches, etc. So he is a celebrated commentator as well and a broadcaster. And therefore, it undermines your credibility and your reputation if something is ascribed to you which you actually not said. So that was one starting point. Second, there were a number of fake videos which were doing the round. For example, a picture which supposedly showed him with his wife, which was not the case, and so on and so forth. So collectively, when we discussed it, we said, is this actionable? Is this protectable? And then we relied upon orders that the Delhi High Court had passed over the last few months to think, yes, we can take this issue to court and ask for directions from the court to protect our personality and publicity rights.
Hi, this is Sunil Gavaskar, and I want to say that there is a website, Cricket Exception, big site, which has printed an article under my name. I have to say that that is completely fake. I have not contributed that article at all, and I want to tell that website to take it down immediately and issue an apology. If you don't do that immediately, I will give the matter to my legal team. So don't believe a word of what you've read. This is a completely fake article and attributed to me.
Over the last few months, it's come to my notice that a lot of sports websites and individual accounts have been attributing comments and quotes to me which I've never made. I request everybody to verify, fact check, and not to believe everything that they read, particularly coming from some of these individual accounts and sports websites. God bless you all.
Okay, so as I understand, there was a rogue platform that was putting, deep fakes or wrong images or wrong quotes attributed to Mr. Gavaskar, which is why, he goes to court with this. Now, in terms of what is the recourse, the court has said that now nobody can do it, and if somebody is guilty of doing that, that content will have to be immediately removed either by the party themselves or the platform that's hosting it. I understand, but to my mind, if someone is going to be jeopardizing an image of, let's say, Mr. Gavaskar, it could be any celebrities, I think that's a grave concern. I think that's a very serious issue. How can they be just let off by asked to remove the content? Shouldn't there be some sort of stronger deterrent? That's the other thing that comes to my mind.
Yes. So I think, like with everything else, this is a initial quote-unquote court order. There's still a long way to go. And perhaps over a period of time, what you're saying is absolutely right. There should be actual compensation or damages for the wrongful damage and loss which has been caused, and the monetary benefit and gain that the offenders have got. So this will happen over a period of time. I think initially it was to nip it in the bud and to at least make sure that this doesn't happen immediately, because that has a straightaway impact on your rights as well as I said, on your reputation and your credibility. Okay. So this is like a band-aid. The surgery is yet to come.
Okay. I think the surgery is needed, because if you just ask them to remove the content, then you're letting them off the hook rather easily. To the other point, and Mr. Gavaskar has always been a torchbearer when it comes to not just in cricket, but off the field as well. The first one who was fighting for the rights of players, so on and so forth. But I would have imagined that certain things would have come into place. Like you're saying, he's become the first, cricket player or sports star for India to get his publicity rights protected. I would have thought you've got bigger stars currently. Like, I don't know, a Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Neeraj Chopra. Why did it take a Mr. Gavaskar to lead the way? Wouldn't have there been a lot of infringement on these bigger names who are currently active?
So I suppose it took an opening batsman to open the innings. And second, hopefully the others are hearing your show and will immediately take a cue from this to say, why should we be second? We should immediately go and protect our rights. And hopefully when this order is publicized and, programs like this are watched by the others, it'll create that little buzz, exactly like it happened with the film personalities. It was one after the other, it's like now a little procession there. So hopefully this is the starting point. It was one run, one not out today, and we have a long way to go.
I love your cricketing analogies, and you're right. Like an opening batsman, I think the current generation of stars have a lot to thank the opening batter, because he blunts the ball, blunts the attack, and the rest of them then just, enjoy the fruits of the hard work done by the opening batters. And so like that, a man from, a generation is going to be helping the current generation now to ensure that their rights are protected. Finally, before I let you go, and thanks for summing up this entire issue in layman's term, but what does this now, or what impact will it have on society in general? I know AI is the buzzword nowadays. You have many, I can make another anchor imitating me with, instead of Nikhil, you call him Akhil, and you're allowed to use him on air, and there's nothing much that I can do. What will be the repercussions now of this court order on anyone who's creating content
think
online and
three
using.
things: responsibility, accountability, and deterrence as in a consequence. Like a blogger or an influencer recently, the Supreme Court reined him in and sent a very strong message. So I think this is a strong message being sent that if you do something which falls foul of the law, impinges on a person's valuable rights, which a sportsman has earned over a long period of time, the court will step in. So I think this is a good first step. As I said, should make people more responsible, accountable, and hopefully in a case, a consequence will also follow, as we saw in some of the directions that the Supreme Court gave, and that will, get things back on track. But that's a beginning of a journey.
Yeah, I completely understand. But Gopal, thank you so much for taking our time, speaking to us, and continue the good fight is all I can say. Because, as I said, plenty more needs to be done to ensure that the rogue elements that we see, especially online,
Yes,
are
we need to douse this fire, and hopefully we can all collaborate. And this program also sends a message to the others that you should now join the bandwagon and assert your rights.
Well, that is the endeavor. That is certainly our endeavor. Thanks once again, Gopal, for speaking.
Pleasure.